taken off over Twitter. Before we do get to that, just Keyshawn turning down that fight. Do you find that insane? $3 million, a chance at the belt.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. He's never been a champion. I believe this was going to be his first fight at 147, and yeah, look, for him, I think that was an opportunity of a lifetime. I think any Haney fight's an opportunity of a lifetime, especially him, though. He's never been a champion. He's never got really anything to bring to the table except a mandatory position. So that would have been huge for him. He spoke like he could have beat him, like he thought he could have beat him. But look, when push come to shove, I think, he realised that obviously that wasn't it. $3 million is a big payday, especially for someone that's gone for their first title and their first title fight. So it's massive. He should have taken it, but it is what it is. And I believe now I've seen that he's sticking to 140. So who knows? Who knows? That's the thing I hate about social media is guys just love barking off on there and loving these social battles. But when push comes to shove and that they don't like to fight, you know what I mean? And that's going back to my fight with Haney. Yes, a lot of stuff was circulating on socials, but that's all it was. We never presented with anything, never spoke numbers, and it's just the way it is. I think it was just a bit of clickbait at the time. But look, everyone knows me. I'm open to fight anyone. I'm a 2-division world champion, so make it like this is unification. It's got to make sense for us too at this time now. So you got to make the business make sense in this position anyway.
So the Haney fight, is that not a thing? Because I thought it was a little bit more advanced. Are you saying that there's nothing really going on?
Look, we heard that they were looking for an opponent and we threw a hat in the ring and that was it. And then we've heard that they said we priced ourselves out, but it didn't even get to talking numbers. So, it's just a load of crap, what I believe anyway. Until a contract signed, it's just all talks. And, the boxing game, it's got plenty of that talking shit.
Some do it well. Is he a fight that, obviously you've spoke about fighting and unification, so I know this is a hard yes, but is he the pick of the bunch at 147 for you now? Like if that was to eventuate any further?
Look, I'll be upfront. I believe Haney, I'll give him his respect. I think he will be the hardest of the division. Just his style. It's a negative style. It's I wouldn't say spoiler, but in a way, kind of. You know what I mean? It's not going to be a high volume fight. It's not going to be a Paro Matthias, a Paro Croc, where it's all action. The fans love it. That's just Haney's style. He's an unbelievable boxer. So I think that's the way that fight will be. Look, I've shared the ring with him heaps and heaps of times. We're pretty familiar with each other. Last time we sparred was a fair few years ago, but plenty of times in Vegas. So look, I'm confident I can get in there and mix it with him. I've done it in the gym, and I don't know if you've seen the videos floating around. Like people keep saying, "Have you seen this?" Yeah, I have. I've been in there firsthand, and I've been in there then more than that 1 minute that they've done. We've done hundreds of minutes together, and for them to release that 1 minute, that's obviously what they think is their best. So, and people have been saying it's a 50-50 spar, so I don't have to say much more than that. You know what I mean? If that's what they think their best is, and it was a 50-50, look, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, sparring. Every fight's different. We moved from 16s to 8-ounce gloves, and it's real. You're trying to knock the guy's head off, and you're trying to get the win. So, look, it's definitely a fight I want, but at the end of the day, it's still got to make sense to us too, because we're no slouch. Like I said, we got something to bring to the table now. Being a 2-division champion, we got a belt. If you want to unify, you got to take that piece of the puzzle. So, give us something that's worthwhile or worth our time, I should say.
And like you said prior to Crocker, it's something where the next step from here is a very important one. I mean, Richardson Hitchens, like that was a quick sort of turnaround, and maybe who knows that situation, and then you weren't able to defend that belt. But this one is something that I can see you don't want to make that mistake twice.
Oh, 100%. But that just goes back to, look, I never regret anything. It was a lesson, and it just wasn't my night in the office. And that was my last fight at 140. But look, it's a business. We got this. It's not easy to get a belt. You know what I mean? So now we've got it. We got to make the right moves, and we're in a position now where when I beat Matthias, I took his mandatory straight off him, and we were mandated to face that pretty much straight after I won that. So we thought we're going to fight Hitchens sooner or later. We'll take it now, and yeah, the rest was history, you know. And now we've with this, we've got a bit more time before we have to look at our mandatory. And no disrespect, but our mandatory isn't a big seller, isn't a big name compared to the guys that are champions and the guys that we're aiming for. So we're aiming for the big fights. What it's all about, you know, making the big fights, unifying, and yes, proper setting up and legacy fights. Really is what I'm chasing. You know, I just want to prove more people wrong, and I've done it plenty of times. So I want to do it once more, some bigger names, a few times more, I should say.
Yeah, well, there's obviously that talk too floating around about Cambosis. He'd obviously need to have a fight in the IBF at
Yeah,
147 before you can take. So for those watching, the rules are that you get one voluntary defense with the IBF, and they need to be a top
yeah,
15 ranked guy, which George currently is not. Would that fight's actually I actually love the idea from an Aussie point of view and everything that
yeah,
goes with it. But timings wise, he'd still need to fight, rest, train. Like you're not going to wait for
correct.
George. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
yeah, at this
That's
point in your career,
no way. You know, we want to keep busy, and like you said, that's a killer fight. Is it nothing better than an all out Australian war? And I believe that is the biggest fight in Australian boxing. And man, you could argue that it's the biggest fight in Australian boxing history, given the status we've both had, you know, and the belts we've both had, and the level we've been at and are at. It's yeah, man, you could argue it's the biggest, biggest credentials bringing into an Australian all in Australian war. So, look, if it made sense, 100%. If the Aussie fans are down for that, I'd be keen for that. You know, look, I think it's been brewing for a little while now. We've both dug the toes in here, had little stabs at each other, but all it is brewing up for a massive fight. You know, and I'd be excited for that one. But like you said, it's you can't just come off losses and get a fight. So we're looking at a fight in late October or November, and he'd have to do the same, and we'd have to have a big fight lined up for early in the year. But in saying that, I believe my mandatory is due late January. So we're going to be looking to be honest, I think unify before that. You know what I mean? I want to get in there and test myself at the best. So look, if George gets some wins up and the fans want it, why not? I'll be keen to dance with them for sure.
I'd love that fight to be.
First, you see what's been working, Frank. You see, he's smart. Yeah.
He's throwing down, he's tight, he's sucking wind.
Come on.
Sucking
You ready
wind.
for that?
Hands
No,
up, hands up,
ain't
hands
that.
up. No, y'all don't even get to the rest don't call that. I'm trying to rest now.
What's good, YouTube family? It's your boy KB back to get boxing is just due. And man, what is going on in the world of boxing, man? You can't trust none of these reports coming out, or at least you just don't know what's going on because we don't have all the information. But from the clip that I just showed y'all, you heard what Liam Paro had to say about, his potential fight with Devin the Dream Haney, man. It's being reported by the Haney channels and the Haney propaganda machine that Liam Paro is demanding $6 million and he priced himself out. He ducked the fight, but you just heard from the clip that I just played from earlier today that Liam Paro did an interview where he said, look, they're saying I priced myself out, but no money has even been discussed. No numbers have been discussed. I put my name in the hat, said I'm willing to fight him, and, that's pretty much it. You ain't heard nothing back. So, he just don't know where they getting this whole he asked for $6 million or he asking for too much money, should he say. He didn't even put a price tag on it, but that's what's being reported from people that rock with Team Haney, right? I rock with Team Haney, but I'm not about to push no lies unless I know if it's true or not. I don't know where they getting it from, but Liam Paro, he got to speak for himself in his little clip. And look, he said no money's been discussed, and they went on to talk about a potential fight with him and George Kambosos that would obviously take place in Australia, and it would be meaningful, maybe a big fight over there because we know the fan base that George Kambosos has in Australia. So And it's an interesting dynamic to see how all of this is playing out. But I just truly hope a fight gets made, by Team Haney. There's talks of Jack Catterall possibly facing Keyshawn Davis in a November 20th card. It's not signed, it's not sealed, but that's something that's being discussed. So it seems like Team Haney is losing opponents by the day, by the week. If he can't fight Jack Catterall, then it has to be Paro. But if his team or people that represent Team Haney are reporting that, Paro is already ducked and, he's demanding $6 million, I just don't know if he's going to fight him either. But Paro is still open to the fight. He's willing to make the unification. He's a 2 division champion. You know what I mean? He beat one of the so-called, I guess, boogeymen of the division. Even though he lost to Richardson Hitchens, it didn't define him, and he moved right up. He was able to fight Lewis Crocker and beat him. So, look, it's gonna get interesting. They have to make a fight. I don't know which direction they're gonna go, but Paro seems like the obvious choice if you're looking to make a unification. I think the big fights are kind of out the window. The biggest fight was obviously Shakur. You're not looking to make that fight. It's cool. No harm, no foul, but what are you going to do and who are you going to fight? And with the way things are materializing and the way this cookie is crumbling, it's looking like, Keyshawn didn't take the fight, cool. Now you have to move on. Paro, you're saying he ducked. Jack Catterall never got a real offer. He's going to the Teo and Rolly fight to see what is going to happen between them. So again, I think Team Haney is left in the same position that they was before they even, since they've been trying to make a fight, right? Try to make a fight with Rolly, nothing happened, and now they're still in the same situation where they're looking to possibly score the best available opponent, get paid, and move on, right? But let's see what fight they take, man. That's my thoughts. Get in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think about all this. Who do y'all think is telling the truth and who's not being honest? Paro said no money has been discussed, so he don't know how they could say he's pricing himself out. Team Haney is saying he's demanding $6 million and ducking the fight, and it's just a mess. It's the same mess as it always been because they're pushing the same two narratives. Everybody is ducking or pricing themselves out, and I just don't think that's the reality. I do think it's a business element, though, that's holding up these fights, particularly with Team Haney, but ultimately they're going to figure it out. So we'll see. But y'all get in the comment section. Let me know if I gave boxing its just due, because that's what I do over here, Just Do Boxing. To the next one, I'm out. Peace.